And same deal, no accountability. You cannot get in. Even members of Congress cannot get in.
And how long have the children been taken care of? How long have they been in places like kindergarten?
Yeah. What are their emotional needs? What are their mental health care needs? What are their primary health care, medicinal needs? We have no idea and don't know how those are being met right now.
Will you be willing to push to abolish ICE completely? We did with just Border Patrol for years. ICE has turned around and become the American Republic. We need a candidate. We need somebody that's going to be in that seat, running this country, that is going to abolish ICE and hold everyone behind us. Because this is causing children trauma. This is causing, if I didn't feed my kids, if I didn't go with my kids, if I locked them up in an ice-cold room, gave them psychotropic drugs, physically and sexually abused them, I would be locked up and they throw away the key. Will you push to abolish ICE? It's not a slogan, it is an actual necessity to make sure that not another child is mistreated, abused, and doesn't grow up with PTSD. Because we're going to have to pay out for these children when everything is said and done. We need to pay for them to have therapy. We need to pay for them to be able to survive and thrive as adults as best as they can after they have gone through this. Because this is an atrocity.
Sorry.
This is horrible. And there is no excuse for it. And we need someone that's going to abolish ICE and stick to it until they can turn around and just shut it all down, get these kids with parents, with families, whatever it needs. But these children should not be in this.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Thank you all. And are we following your...
I wanted to give you an honor.
Thank you so much. Yes. Appreciate it.
And I want to thank you so much. We actually made a video for you.
Ready? Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Ready?
Can you hold this? Is it going?
Thank you. That's so inspiring. And this, you're here.
Let's go, Cesar. Let's go, Cesar.
Two.
I've got to go. Hey, hey, come home. Woo.
¡Se puede!
¡Sí se puede!
¡Se puede!
¡Sí se puede!
¡Se puede!
¡Sí se puede!
¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede!
¡Sí se puede!
How are you? Great.
Beto, we love you.
I'm following Cessa.
All right, how's everybody doing? I can't hear you. How's everybody doing? We're here for justice. We want to shut this baby Joe down, and we are glad to be joined today by community, number one. Number two, by the people who are working every day to shut these centers down. And number three, we are proud to be able to bring this issue to the limelight and make sure that everybody knows that we should not have children detention centers, neither in Houston, neither in the state of Texas, or in the United States. Who's with me? We are here today as concerned Americans to be able to bring back the sanctity of freedom. These children are being held in what they call shelters, but they are not shelters. These are detention centers. And together, we must fight against the policies that create these detention centers, because we should be focusing on other issues, not on the issue of caging children. That's right. We are joined today by a variety of people. We know that Southwest Keys has a problem, and we need to hold Southwest Keys and everybody who supports Southwest Keys, whether it's monetarily or through elected officials. We need to hold everybody accountable. So we are here today to say that we don't want baby jails. No baby jails!
No baby jails! No baby jails! No baby jails! No baby jails! No baby jails! No baby jails! No baby jails! No baby jails!
We have been here in Houston when it is hot. We have been here when it is semi-cold, because it doesn't get cold in Houston. We have been here in the rain. We have been here in the sun. And we will continue to be here until we shut these centers down. I want to introduce now Diana Alexander. She has been a sister in the fight, and she's going to continue. And we have the commitment, not only from myself, from Candace, from Joseph, from all the people who have been here. We have the commitment to be here until we resolve the policies that create these centers. We should be standing up. We should be standing up for freedom. And we should be standing up for the most vulnerable of our community, which is our children.
Yes.
So with you, I bring you Diana Alexander.
Woo! All right, Diana!
Hi, I'm Diana Alexander. Thanks to all of you for being here, and I appreciate again and again those who've been coming out, because we've been coming out here for over a year, right? Over a year ago, just like tomorrow, we had the march with thousands of people in Houston, Texas. Do y'all remember that?
Yes.
We had thousands in the streets saying we didn't want family separation, and this is a symptom of that family separation. We need oversight for this center. We have no idea what conditions these children are in. We have no idea if they're receiving educational services, services to address their trauma, any medical needs that they may have. We have no oversight, and I can't accept that. Can you accept that? No. I'm a mom, and I have an 18-year-old, and I can't imagine her being in these conditions. And I know many of you feel the same way. And the government gave this center, Southwest Key, a contract. And that means that we are beholden to these children because the government is acting in our name. So what I need you guys to do, and I want to thank Beto for bringing amplification to this issue, because we've been out here. We've been out here, and there have been like 3 people out here, but guess what? We keep showing up because this center matters. These kids matter, and we're not going to give up on them. And so this is what I want you to do. My ask is that you call your elected officials, you call your city councilman, you call the mayor, you call the commissioner's court, and you call anyone who has any stake, your congresswoman or congressman, right? Congresswoman. Because we need to make sure that we're not letting them forget that these kids need our help, and we're not going to forget about them. So that's my ask of you, to call them and remind them that we need to shut down 419. And David Denenberg, he's the one who owns this land, right? Yes. And we've been out there. We've been out there at his house to let him know, hey, don't rent this place to 419 because to Southwest Key, because we don't know what they're capable of. And you know that they have had some allegations of mistreatment of kids, and we don't know that these kids are okay. So that's what I need you to do, is to make sure that you demand oversight and transparency for these kids. Thank you.
We've been here. We've been here. And we're not going anywhere. Until these children get justice, there will be no peace. No justice?
No peace.
No justice?
No peace.
No justice?
No peace.
All right, I want to thank everybody for being out here, for taking time on your Saturday to be here. But this shouldn't be the last time.
Yes.
Anytime we have an action out here, we should be more, and we should fill up the streets, and we should let Houston and the country know that we will not stand for these children detention centers. So who's with me? Who's with me? All right, we're going to do a chant to pump up the crowd. Ready? Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Baby jails have got to go! Hey, hey!
Ho, ho!
Baby jails have got to go! Hey, hey!
Ho, ho!
Baby jails have got to go! Hey, hey!
Ho, ho!
Baby jails have got to go! Hey, hey!
Ho, ho!
Baby jails have got to go! Hey, hey!
Ho, ho!
Baby jails have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Baby jails have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Baby jails have got to go! Now let me bring this home. Why is this important to Houston? Houston claims to be the most diverse city, the most beautiful city, and it is that diversity that makes us beautiful. But in that diversity, we have to acknowledge that there are 600,000 undocumented people in the greater Houston area, meaning that 1 out of every 10 people in Houston does not have documentation. And in the words of Cesar Chavez, we need to stand up for our brothers and sisters.
Right.
If they come for one of us, they come for all of us. And in that spirit, we must continue to raise the immigration issue because it's so crucial, so vital to Houston, Texas, to the state of Texas, and to the United States of America. So we invite every elected official, we invite anybody who's seeking office to make sure that they address this issue. And this is why it's so important for Beto to be here today. So he's bringing this issue to the forefront, and he's raising this issue. And we hope that other people who are also running for presidency bring up this issue, and we can begin to have a real, honest conversation to find solutions to our broken immigration system. So without further ado, we bring you Beto O'Rourke.
How's everybody doing? Very, very good to be with you. Buenas tardes a todos y gracias por estar aquí en este momento tan importante. This is a defining moment of truth for our country. And I want you to look at this from the perspective of your kids and your grandkids and the generations that will follow us, who will be reading in their history books about this moment in 2019. It's the same way when we were kids, we were reading in our history books about how this country sent them back. More than 250 of those passengers, kids, women, and children, would be murdered. And that's a stain on our conscience, something that we live with every single day as a country. And when we look back on 1939, we say, look, if I was alive at that time, if I was in a position to do something about it, I would have made sure that we accepted those Jewish refugees.
Right.
A couple years later, we decided to incarcerate Japanese and for no other crime than their race and their ethnicity.
Right.
Then they understand what this country was doing in the 1940s to our fellow Americans. Well, here we are in 2019. And though this is just one facility here in Houston, our own conscience, the judgment, the reckoning, the accountability of our kids who will want to know what we did when we faced this truth and this moment of truth where we could act us in, will not answer our questions, shows that only reason that someone would make more than this cannot be America, but in this great, for those of you who joined us last year in Tornillo, Texas, you understand what your presence Americans will do. We came there turned over to the Department of Justice and then deported back to the very countries from which they fled. Those kids in cages, ending up in foster care homes, God only knows where, with no ability to come together. And some of them in that tent encampment in Tornillo, people all over this country showed up. They protested. They held up their phones just like you're holding up your happening in Tornillo. And within weeks, the administration ended the zero tolerance policy at the border because of the public pressure and the political will that you formed in this great democracy. And within a year, Tornillo, Texas was shut down, closed, no longer accepting kids. So this is what we ask of Southwest Key. At a minimum, let us come inside and see how those kids are doing. Let us ask those kids how they're doing. We are all accountable for those kids. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that they are okay. We're going to do everything we can to connect them with their parents. We are going to claim those kids and get them into a safe home. Southwest Key, at least give us these answers. And then here's what we ask of you. You have made hundreds of millions of dollars off of detaining these kids in facilities like these. Put your money where your mouth is. Those are our tax dollars. And tell the federal government you will accept not another child until the federal government ensures that those kids are connected with their parents as soon as possible. That we abide by the letter of the law, including the Forest Agreement, making sure that they have sanitary conditions, primary and mental health care, a world-class education, and are treated with the dignity and respect that we owe them as our fellow human beings. Amen. And then let's do this as a country. Let's decide that we will never again in the United States of America separate a child from her mother or her father. Yes. We will never again put them in a cage or in a detention center or force them to spend days or weeks or months or years at a facility like this one at Southwest Key. That we understand that we must not just tolerate or respect our differences, but fully embrace them if we are going to be the strongest, best America we can be. And that it is to our lasting benefit that these children have come to this country. And if they are granted asylum, they're able to stay here with their families. They will reveal their true power and genius here in the United States of America and contribute to our success and to our greatness for the rest of their lives. And then lastly, as Cesar said, we must now rewrite this country's immigration laws in our own image from the perspective of the most diverse city in the United States of America. Yes. Let's make sure that we work with the countries of Honduras and Guatemala and El Salvador. Reduce violence there. Help those farmers who are struggling through historic droughts so that they can feed themselves and be safe and not have to make this journey to this country in the first place. Right. Let us spare no expense in reuniting every single family who's been separated in the United States. And then let's do this. Let's do this. Those more than 1 million dreamers who right now live in constant fear of being deported back to the very countries from which they fled. Those TPS holders who are here decades after they came from El Salvador and Haiti and other countries legally. Let's make sure that we free them from that fear by making them U.S. citizens in this, their true home country. Millions more, including those brothers and sisters of dreamers, their parents, who the dreamers refer to as the original dreamers. Allow them to come forward, contribute even more to our success and our greatness as legal permanent residents, then U.S. citizens. Let's make sure that our immigration laws reflect our values, our interests, and the reality that we see here on the ground in Houston, Texas, and in my hometown of El Paso. When we do this, our country will live up to its potential and will fulfill its promise. You all ready to work on this? So grateful to be with you. Please keep up the fight. These kids are counting on it.
There's 6 dead kids. Accountability for the 6 dead kids.
Yep. And accountability for how every single child is treated, whether they're here at Southwest Key, whether they're at a Border Patrol station in Clint, Texas. There have been 7 children whose lives have been lost within our care and our custody as a country. We are accountable for that. Somebody said probably more because we only know about the 7 because of investigative journalists. The press, not the enemy of the people. The best defense against tyranny. What is happening in our name right now? So thank you for being with these kids. We came here today to tell you that we are with you. Les agradezco. Gracias. Thank you all very much.
Beto! Beto! Beto!
Appreciate it. Thank you. ¿Qué hacemos? Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Chris.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, very grateful. Thank you so much for bearing witness.